On Tuesday around 9 a.m. local time, day 11 of the Diddy trial began, and the first witness called to the stand was LAPD officer Chris Inoyo. He was questioned about the night Diddy allegedly broke into Kid Cudi's house. The officer explained that on December 22, 2011, around 8 a.m., he received a report of a break-in. He and his colleagues responded with lights and sirens. When they arrived, they saw a black car driving away. A license plate check showed the car was registered to Bad Boy Records. The officers then entered Cudi's property and noticed the door was open, but they didn't find anything unusual. About 20 minutes later, Kid Cudi arrived back home and filed a report for unlawful entry. After the officer finished his account, Diddy's defense team began cross-examination. His lawyer asked whether any weapons were reported or if there was any indication of a kidnapping. The officer said no to both and confirmed that no theft had been reported either. This statement was a key moment for the defense. That's because the alleged armed kidnapping is one of the main charges the prosecution is relying on to accuse Diddy of organized crime involvement. The questioning then ended, and the next witness, Lance Jimmy, a fire investigator, took the stand. He had been called to Kid Cudi's burned car in January 2012. He testified that the fabric roof had been cut open and a beer bottle filled with gasoline was thrown inside. Investigators also found a lighter nearby. They searched the entire property for fingerprints and discovered traces from both a male and a female on Kid Cudi's front door. These were passed on to the LAPD, but according to Jimmy, the evidence was destroyed in August 2012. Diddy's lawyers immediately objected to this statement, and the objection was upheld. Things got tense in the courtroom, and the jury was asked to temporarily leave. The defense argued that mentioning the destruction of evidence could wrongly suggest that Diddy had something to do with it, which they called a serious procedural error. They even requested that the entire case be dismissed, but the judge denied that motion. Once the jury returned, the judge instructed them to ignore all mentions of the fingerprint evidence. The investigator was then cross-examined by Diddy's attorney, who asked if he had contacted Cassie or Diddy's former assistant Capricorn Clark after the discovery of the female DNA, implying they could be involved. Jimmy said he had tried multiple times but never received a response. He was also asked if a glove found in the back seat had been officially logged. He said no. With that, he was dismissed from the stand. Next up was Deontay Nash, a stylist and close friend of Cassie. He made it clear right away that he wouldn't be testifying if he didn't have to. Still, he spoke for hours, confirming almost all of Cassie's previous statements. He said Diddy didn't just threaten Cassie, but many other people. During one argument, Diddy even threatened to send Cassie's intimate tapes to her parents' employers. When Deontay tried to intervene, Diddy allegedly grabbed and slapped him. This supposedly happened multiple times, but out of fear, Deontay never went to the police. After more than 2 hours of mostly negative statements about Diddy, the prosecutor asked him how he feels about Diddy today. Deontay answered, "I don't hate him." Following a short break and news that the court day would run long, Deontay was cross-examined. He was asked if he had ever filed a lawsuit against Diddy for physical abuse. He said, "No, I just want to leave all this behind." Diddy's lawyers then asked if Diddy had helped him launch his career and whether Diddy had paid for Cassie's studio sessions. Deontay confirmed both. When asked if he had ever been involved in criminal activity on Diddy's behalf, he hesitated and then said, yeah, explaining that they had used drugs together, but that he never saw staff members give him any. Because the hearing had already gone over an hour longer than planned, the rest of the questioning was postponed to the following day. On Thursday, Deontay Nash's testimony continued. He said he had introduced Cassie to Michael B. Jordan, and that Cassie had also dated a football player in 2017. He also confirmed a New Year's Eve 2016 incident where Cassie allegedly had another man visit her, even though she flew to Mexico with Diddy the next day. When the defense brought up Kim Porter, the judge warned Diddy's lawyer for prolonging the questioning. The cross-examination ended around 10:30 a.m. Next, the second alleged victim of Diddy's abuse took the stand. For anonymity, she's referred to in court as Mia. She testified that she worked for Diddy for several years, calling the work environment toxic and chaotic. She said Diddy's mood controlled everything. He threw things at her, slammed her against walls, and once threw her into a pool. She said he was physically and sexually abusive, even during her job interview, when he allegedly opened the door wearing only underwear. She also described the inhuman working conditions we've already heard about from other former staff, saying she couldn't leave the house without permission and had to work 24-hour shifts, often relying on medication to get through it. When asked about incidents involving Cassie, some of which she witnessed firsthand, she confirmed all the previously described events, including the so-called freak-offs, drug use, and psychological and physical assaults by Diddy. She admitted to using drugs occasionally, but said Diddy had pressured her into it. The prosecution then questioned her about specific assaults, but she said she couldn't recall exact dates because these incidents happened often. She described one of the first assaults, which allegedly happened in a hotel months after she started working for him. She said she was in the kitchen of a penthouse, and Diddy told everyone to leave the room so it was just the two of them left. He told her she was doing a great job and poured her several vodka shots. After 3, she felt suddenly very drunk. Then he came closer, kissed her, and put his hand under her dress. When asked if this was consensual, she clearly said no. She was so shocked she didn't react. The next thing she remembered was,